good?
Okay. Yep.
Sweet. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to WCBN Sports presentation of Michigan softball Saturday matinee style for Game 2 of the Wolverines' three-game weekend set against the visiting Penn State Nittany Lions, live from Alumni Field. Alongside Kendall Spencer, I'm Jared Greenspan, and it's been a successful past few games for the Wolverines, who all of a sudden are surging a bit, riding a three-game winning streak after they started Big Ten play at an 0-4 mark. They're slowly climbing their way back into relevancy in the conference. They're still in ninth place, though, so a long way to go, but positive signs over the last few days for the Wolverines.
Yeah, as you mentioned, the Wolverines, who are 22-11 so far this season, hadn't gotten the best start to their Big Ten play, as you mentioned, going 0-4, but they've been lucky enough that their past three games, which have been wins, the first one on the Sunday, 8-3 against Northwestern, followed by a win at home against Michigan State on Wednesday, 6-1, and then an 8-0 five-inning win yesterday against Penn State. So putting them 3-4 and ninth in the Big Ten standings. So they've definitely been, improving at the right time, especially now that they have a nice little streak of Big Ten play. They'll have this game, then they have the game against Penn State tomorrow. They'll play Central Michigan on Tuesday, but then 3 games at Maryland, and just continuing basically just playing the Big Ten for the rest of the season. So if there's a time to start getting hot, it's definitely right about now, with a lot of Big Ten games on the schedule.
And Megan Beaubien will take the circle today. Beaubien last towed the rubber 6 days ago at Northwestern in the series finale. She picked up a much-needed win, hurling 5 2/3 innings, surrendering just 2 runs. First pitch to Cassie Lindmark is low and away, ball 1. So it's been Alex Storako who followed up Beaubien's performance last Sunday with 2 consecutive complete games. First Wednesday, striking out 12 across 7 innings against Michigan State. And then yesterday, in the run rule victory, she hurled 5 innings. Beaubien's pitch rides just a bit high, and it's 2-0 to begin her afternoon. Cassie Lindmark, the batter for Penn State, hitting a cool .394 on the season with some ridiculous numbers, including a .492 on base percentage, nearly 100 points higher than any other Penn State hitter in the lineup today.
She has nearly a 50% on base percentage.
The 2-0 to Linmark, off speed, misses inside, and so Beaubien has fallen behind 3-0 to begin her afternoon.
All have been, except for maybe the first one, the past 2 have been decent pitches from her, just the umpire's not really giving her much.
16 walks on the season for Beaubien in 59 innings. The 3-0, tails just a bit low, says the home plate umpire Charles McManus, and so Cassie Lindmark with a 4-pitch walk to begin the afternoon. Not the ideal start for Megan Beaubien here. And Beaubien has struggled a bit this season. It's a 2.37 ERA, which would seem pretty respectable, and then you learn of Beaubien's pedigree here in her 5th season in the maize and blue, and she has been dominant. So she'll look to try and get back on track here. First pitch to the left-handed hitter, Allie Kurland, is in for a strike.
That was a good pitch. With that first batter, Linmark just trying to play it safe. Obviously, Linmark has some pretty ridiculous numbers this season. Not trying to give her anything in the zone, trying to make her swing. Didn't work, so she's going to have to go a bit more in the zone.
0-1 comes in low, 1-1. We mentioned Beaubien's 2.37 ERA. Well, to put things into comparison, last year that mark was at 1.24. The year before that, 1.52. And back in her sophomore year, 1.87. So she's not quite been at that level this season. Still time to turn it around. The 1-1, Kurland chops it foul up the first baseline as Esmond watches it go by, and it's 1-2.
Got her to swing there, which is good. She's needed that so far.
Allie Kurland, not too shabby herself, .345 hitter with 13 home runs that ties her for 12th in all of college softball. It's Linmark and Kurland, the dynamic 1-2 punch atop this Penn State lineup. Left-handed hitting designated player against a left-handed throwing Beaubien. Here comes the 1-2. Kurland belts it to left, easing back and making the catch is Sealer. Had it lined up perfectly, and it's a hard hit out for the first out of the day.
Yeah, Steelers looked a little bit harder off the bat than it actually was. Tailed off pretty quickly. Of course, the weather here is kind of brutal today. There's some wind and not really the best softball weather, but
That flag in right center field is blowing towards right field, just as it was yesterday. That ball got hung up, so one out for Beaubien. See if she could settle in. Still on at first is Lindmark. Lauren Marcotte, the shortstop at the dish, takes a first pitch fastball for a ball, 1-0. Marcotte hitting .281 on the season, not much of a power threat. And a quick impromptu mound visit here between Beaubien and Carson. And the pitching coach, Jen Brundage.
not quite sure what's going on. Might be an injury. Might just be talking.
Beaubien walked the first batter of this ball game on 4 pitches. Got a hard hit out to left field from Allie Curlin. That was a rocket that Ellie Sealer had lined up perfectly. And so 1-0 count here to Lauren Marcotte. Charles McManus behind home plate is going to break up this meeting in the circle, and Brundage will get out of there just in time. Carson heads back as well. So Beaubien will look to settle down. A bit of an unorthodox start here to begin her afternoon. It's the first time she's pitched in a while. As we said a little while ago, she hasn't pitched since last Sunday, 6 days in between. For Beaubien, who's used to being a workhorse, although she's only thrown 59 in the third innings this year. Last year, that was over 152 innings. Back in her last full season before that, her sophomore year was 228. There's a strike on the inside half of the plate, and it's 1-1.
Probably just trying to figure things out a bit. Obviously, the umpire has a pretty tough strike zone to start the game. Might loosen up as it goes on, but as we're seeing here, not giving her very much of anything, especially on the outside edges.
1-1 coming to Marcotte. That one's high, 2-1. Yesterday's home plate umpire, Terry Holtman's third base today. And the first base umpire is Trina Comerford. 2-1 the count. Marcotte the batter. Lindmark the runner at first. She reached on a walk. Beaubien in the circle. Here comes her 2-1. And that hit her. Right off that front shoulder. He took it. And now Penn State has runners on first and second with just one away, as Beaubien has put herself into a pickle with a walk and a hit by pitch. That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Lexi Black, looking to do some damage.
Looked like it may have been a rise ball that went a little bit too inside. Got it right on the elbow.
And we'll have a pinch runner out at second base. Shelly Rivard, who pinch ran in yesterday's ball game, will relieve Cassie Lindmark. Lexi Black upcoming to the dish. She's got 21 RBI on the year. That's third on Penn State's team, and she's primed perhaps to add a few more to that tally here. A base knock would almost certainly score Rivard, who has speed at second base.
29 hits on the season, also 22 strikeouts. .563 slugging percentage.
Black right-handed batter against the left-handed throwing Beaubien. He's had some trouble in the first inning, trying to escape unscathed. First pitch, off speed, low, 1-0, just below the knees.
Beaubien's having a really tough time getting Penn State to bite at any of her off-speed pitches or on that rise. And it's hurting her because, as we've mentioned, the umpire is not going to give her anything that's pretty much not in the strike zone.
1-0 to Black. And there's a dart on the inside corner, 1-1. Nice pitch from Beaubien to get back even. Rivard, the runner at second. She's got speed. The back runner is Lauren Marcotte. Lexi Black at the plate. We're going to put Penn State in front early. We're on the top of the first. Here's the 1-1. Off speed for a strike. Good change of pace from Beaubien, and it's 1-2.
That was a great changeup. Perfectly placed, almost exactly where that fastball had been on the previous pitch.
So Beaubien has Black right where she wants her. Can she put her away? Here comes the 1-2. Rises upstairs, 2-2. Good eye from Black to lay back on the high cheese. Michelle Leone, the third baseman, looms on deck. Black's got 7 home runs on the season, so got to be careful of the power threat that she brings to the table. 2-2 the count. Beaubien into the windup deals, and it tails outside, ball 3. So Black has worked the count full after falling behind 1-2, and Beaubien can ill afford to put another runner on base here. Runners on first and second with just 1 out in the top of the first. Here comes the 3-2, fouled straight back, and we'll do it again. The 6th pitch of the at-bat upcoming. Or 7th, rather.
Would love to get a weak ground ball here, potentially turn 2, get out of the inning. Get Beaubien back on the bench, just get her out of this situation. Has not started the best, want to get it over with as soon as possible.
Bump, McVeigh, Livingston, Essman, third to first around the infield for Michigan if a ground ball comes their way. Here comes the 3-2 to Black. Ripped down the left field line. It lands in front of Sealer, a base hit. Everyone moves up a bag, and Penn State has the bases loaded with 1 away.
Sealer was in a good place to play that ball at least. Has good arm, no running chance, but bases are loaded.
Rivard, despite her speed, had no chance to score on that one. Sealer was right there. Got it even before Rivard could get to third, but the bases loaded nonetheless. Michelle Leone, the third baseman and 5-hitter at the plate. She's hitting .247 on the year, just 1 home run. Rivard on a third. She pinch ran for Lindmark, who walked to lead off this game.
There's a little meeting.
Another mound meeting here. Michigan's infielders try to encourage Beaubien through this frame. The runner at second is Marcotte. She got hit by a pitch. And Black is on at first after roping the single. So Megan Beaubien in an immediate pickle here. 4 batters into this ball game. The only out she's recorded was a screaming line drive to left field that Ellie Sealer had lined up perfectly. She's 19 pitches deep. Not many results to show for it.
Leone, not much of a slugging threat, only .301. But when there's 3 runners on, you don't really need to.
And we've got a pitching change here as Beaubien trots back to the dugout. Hurt, so she cannot escape the first inning. She's going to need help to get through it. Lauren Jakassi, the freshman right-hander, will come in to relieve her. So the day did not go according to plan for Beaubien, and it'll be Jakassi now, who is tasked with getting the Wolverines out of this jam. Jakassi last pitched in relief of Beaubien on Sunday. She pitched 1.1 innings, gave up 1 hit and 1 run. Struck out 1, walked 1. On the year, she's got a 2.76 ERA. It's been impressive as a freshman. But a big spot for her here today. With Penn State threatening to hang a crooked number here in the top of the first before the Wolverines can even get to bat.
17 walks on the season compared to 22 strikeouts.
And, of course, control an issue for Jakassi. She doesn't have anywhere to put anybody with the bases loaded and 1 away. A walk would force in a run.
Looks like she's used up her warm-up pitches.
So the 5th year, Beaubien hands the baton to the first-year Jakassi. It's Michelle Leone who will greet her first. Rivard, the runner, at third. Marcotte at second, and Black at first. Bases full of Nittany Lions. Lauren Jakassi, the new pitcher, trying to limit the damage here. No score, but Penn State threatening. 1 away in the top of the first.
Real stressful situation to get put into for your first batter.
Right-handed hitter Leone versus the right-handed pitcher Jakassi takes a big cut and comes up empty, 0-1. How about that? Jakassi just rearing back and letting it rip.
Good to get a first strike. Good for it to be swinging. You know that she's looking to put runs on. She's not going to be content with just watching the strike zone or watching the pitches go by her.
Here's the 0-1, fouled our way out of play over the top of us down the first base side, and it's 0-2. So Jakassi, as you said, as came in pumping strikes.
Already has Leone 0-2. Looking to put her away quick.
Here comes Jakassi 0-2 to Leone. Swing and a miss. She chased a pitch way in the dirt. And a huge 3-pitch strikeout for Lauren Jakassi, who comes in right away and gets just what the doctor ordered for the Wolverines. 2 outs, bases still loaded. And now Penn State's fate is handed over to Liana Jones, the left fielder.
Great at bat for Jakassi, but also a really poor approach for Leone. Obviously, you want to put your team up here, but swinging at 3 pitches, the first 3 you see, and especially the last one just being completely, it bounced before it got to home plate.
Jakassi misses up and away for a ball 1. Leone fanned on 3 pitches.
Got a little too excited there and paid the price for it.
This would be a golden opportunity for Penn State. Can ill afford to let it squander. Here comes the 1-0. Flared to right. Out is Livingston, and in and making the catch is LeClaire. A harmless pop fly, and how about that? The job well done by Lauren Jakassi. Gets out of the inning unscathed. Inherited the bases loaded 1-out situation from Beaubien. Came in and on 5 pitches was able to retire 2 Penn State hitters. And so the Nittany Lions leave 3 in the top of the first. We're headed to the bottom of the frame. Still no score.
Really encouraging for the Wolverines, obviously, to be able to have that jam happen and get out of it completely unscathed. Jakassi did a great job of reading the situation, made Leone make a little bit of a fool of herself on that 3rd strike, and then was able to get the fly out to end the inning.
And so you got to be deflated if you're Penn State. Had the bases loaded with 1 away, had Beaubien on the ropes, so much so that she was removed from the game. But Jakassi pulling off the Houdiniac to get the Wolverines through the top of the first, still tied at 0. And now Michigan's lineup, which has been hot as of late. Wolverines scored 8 runs in the run rule victory yesterday, and then on Wednesday scored 6 in the victory over Penn State. It'll be Burkhart leading off and playing center field. Ellie Sealer in the 2-hole playing left. Hannah Carson, the catcher, bats 3rd. Melina Livingston, who's homered in 2 consecutive games, bats 4th. Speaking of home runs, Taylor Bump, who's batting 5th, hit a mammoth shot to left field yesterday. Lauren Esmond playing first, batting 6th. Audrey LeClaire batting 7th. Sierra Kirsten, the designated player, bats 8th. And Ella McVeigh, rounding things out, plays shortstop and bats 9th.
Wolverines are going to want to look to get a hot start off Lingenfelter, 4.24 ERA, given 61 hits this season.
First pitch to the left-handed hitting Burkhart rides in for a strike. Burkhart has been about as hot as anybody, hitting .431 now on the season, slugging .633, just astounding numbers for the transfer from North Carolina. Michigan roughed up Penn State's pitching yesterday. Here comes the 0-1 from Lingenfelter. It's low 1-1. It was a scoreless game through 3 innings and into the bottom of the 4th when Michigan finally cracked the code. But the Wolverines were held scoreless until Burkhart singled in that bottom of the 4th, or hitless rather. Here's the 1-1. Burkhart lines it up the middle. That's down for a base hit into center field. Played on a couple of hops by Krothhamel, and Christina Burkhart does what Christina Burkhart does, leading off the game with her 48th hit of the season.
Real solid contact on that by Burkhart. Great swing. Got every piece of it. Nailed it right into center field.
And so Ellie Sealer at the dish, left-handed hitter, hitting just .204 on the season. She's been asked to lay down a few bunts over these past couple of games. See what happens here with Burkhart at first. Corners pinched in, expecting a bunt. She lays it down, but it goes foul up the third base side. So Sealer gave herself away, and it's 0-1.
Burkhart also with 9 stolen bases on 11 attempts this season.
She was caught in a situation yesterday in the first inning, the identical situation. Sealer couldn't get the bunt down, tried to take off, and was nabbed at second. 0-1 the count. Sealer pulls the bunt back and takes a strike. Throw behind Burkhart at first, but she gets back in safely. And so now Sealer behind 0-2. Sealer only in the 2-hole because Lexi Blair, one of Michigan's best hitters, continues to miss time with an injury. Last played Friday against Northwestern, crashed into the fence, was seen with a brace on her leg. And so Blair's absence from the lineup certainly felt. Here comes the 0-2. Sealer chops it to third. It's fielded there. Throw to second for one, but not in time. There's no relay throw for an attempt at a double play. Nice job by Leone at third to handle that tough hop. And the Nittany Lions get the force at second. So Sealer now at first with Hannah Carson at the plate.
Tried to get that slap down, just a bit too much on it. Got straight to Leone and were able to put away the lead runner.
Carson hitting .289, the catcher with 26 RBI leads the team. Left-handed hitter. Against a right-handed pitcher. Takes the first pitch low, ball one. See if Sealer has any intention of running here. She's only attempted to steal a base 3 times in the year, but she hasn't been caught, so she's 3 for 3. One away here in the bottom of the first. No score between Michigan and Penn State. Game 2 of the weekend series between these two foes. Michigan looking up to Penn State in the standing. That's ripped down the right field line. A base hit by Carson. It's fielded there by Finnegan. Sealer moves up to second. And knock for Carson. Line drive through the right side. And Michigan has something cooking. First and second with one away from Melina Livingston.
So much so that Sealer had to jump over that one to avoid getting hit.
As I was getting at, Michigan entered this game and the series looking up to Penn State in the standings with that 3-4 conference record. It looks far more respectable now than it did a few days ago when it was 0-4. Penn State just 4-3 in the Big Ten, so a win today would knot these teams up. Lingenfelter now finds herself in a jam. First pitch to Livingston. She watches it go by for a strike at the letters, and it's 0-1.
Livingston slugging .568 on the season.
She didn't hit a home run in the Maize and Blue until Wednesday when she clocked one to right, and yesterday she hit what turned into to be a walk-off in left center with the run rule. Here's the 0-1, and that one's just below the knees, 1-1.
No low pitches being called for strikes today.
A tight strike zone there by Charles McManus behind the dish. Sealer, the runner at second. She's got speed. Carson, the back runner at first. Livingston even in the count 1-1, and that tails inside 2-1. Livingston, the former Nittany Lion, graduate transfer from Penn State, gave it to her old team yesterday with that 3-run shot that ended the game. Parking it over the left center fence. 2-1 the count. Lingenfelter at the belt, she deals. Livingston, high fly ball center field. Crothamel shading under it, moving to her left, makes the catch in shallow right center for the second out of the inning. Both runners hold.
Just got under that one. Hit really hard, but really high and not that far.
And so that'll bring Taylor Bump to the plate. Bump hit one of the furthest home runs I've ever seen in yesterday's ball game, hitting it off the back of the baseball scoreboard in left center field. If it wasn't for that mammoth scoreboard, it would have landed in Ray Fisher Stadium. See if she could drive in some runs here. Bump takes a first pitch fastball at the knees for a strike. Bump struggles have been well documented, hitting just .219 this season after hitting over .300 last year and really cementing herself as one of the team's best hitters. But this year has not gone according to plan. 0-1 the count. Lingenfelter trying to get out of it. Off-speed pitch, dives in low, 1-1.
Just a bit too low there. Didn't really have any room to fall. Came in probably lower than she intended for it to.
Bump can continue to rewrite the narrative around this season with big hits like yesterday's, and this would certainly deliver as well. The 1-1, fouled straight back. Good cut on the fastball. It's 1-2. Bump had a big hit in Wednesday's game against Michigan State as well. Drove in a pair of runs with a double.
She's right on that fastball. Just need to expect probably something off speed here. Try and get her to swing and put the inning away.
She only has 10 RBI in the year, but 5 of them have come in the last 2 games. 1-2 the count to Bump. Lingenfelter deals. Bump takes just upstairs. 2-2. Close one there, but Bump with the good eye, and now the count is even.
Almost looked like it may have been a strike, but I guess it was just a bit up and in.
Lingenfelter looking to get out of the inning unscathed. 2-2 swing and a miss. Bump down on strikes. Chase the high heat. Couldn't catch up to it. And Michigan, much like Penn State in the top half of the inning, strands a pair of base runners. 2 hits, 2 left. Nothing to show for it. And at the end of 1 here at Alumni Field, Wolverines and Nittany Lions scoreless.
Coming up for the Penn State Nittany Lions, next up with Krauthamel, Coombs, and Finnegan. 7, 8, and 9 in the lineup. Not having the best seasons collectively, but obviously that's just kind of how batting orders work. 225, 176, and 129 batting averages, respectively.
Krauthamel hitting just 225, but she's been flashing her leather so far this series. Made 2 great grabs in yesterday's ball game, 1 deep in the right center field gap and 1 in left center on a sprawling catch. So she's at least proving her value somewhere for Penn State.
Jakassi, obviously in to start the second inning. Did a great job getting Michigan out of that jam in the first. Going to look to continue getting quick outs, hopefully put away 7, 8, and 9 before you get back to the top of the order in the third. Krauthamel just 23 hits on the season, slugging .333, on-base percentage .275, strikes out 26 times, more strikeouts than hits for the senior. And everyone will return to their dugouts, or return to their spots, and we'll start the second inning with Krauthamel up to bat. First pitch from Jakassi high, ball 1. Hoping to avoid any walks, walks like we saw. There'll be a slap bunt, almost caught by the first baseman, but they're able to recover. Get that over to Livingston at first for the first out.
Well, good idea by Krauthamel. Esmond read it really well and couldn't catch it in the air, but was able to snag it. And then when she let the ball hit the dirt, Livingston racing over to first to cover for her. Just great defense all the way around for the Wolverines.
Yeah, Esmond read it really well. It was just almost like a step too short to catch that. As the sophomore, Coombs will step in, look at strike 1. First out of the inning by Krauthamel on a smart play by her. Second pitch, rise ball that rose too much, ball 1. That was almost at the head of Coombs.
Well, Coombs is small in stature. We saw yesterday Michigan's pitchers had some trouble pitching to her, finding the zone. Tight strike zone when she's at the plate.
Right on that, but she'll foul it back. 1-2.
Jakassi continuing what she did in the first inning in relief of Bobby and just pouring in strikes. That's how she got out of that jam. A 3-pitch strikeout, and then on pitch 2 of the second at-bat, got a fly out to right field.
If there's a chance to get a low pitch in, this is probably the at-bat, as Coombs fouls that one back too. Still 1-2.
Coombs has had some good cuts here and there. She's staying alive, fighting off that fastball. Hitting just 176 on the year, 25 strikeouts. At risk of a 26th here, which would tie her with Krauthamel for the team lead.
Nice pitch by Jakassi. Has Coombs swinging and missing for second out.
And so right on cue, Jakassi again fans Coombs with the heat. Penn State's hitters can't keep up. 2 strikeouts through 4 batters in relief for Jakassi, who continues to impress in the circle.
With only 26.2 innings pitched, her ERA drops with pretty significantly with every pitch. That was a really good changeup there for strike one.
And Jakassy's potential emergence is something to keep tabs on as the season progresses. Michigan has been looking for that third pitcher for a while now. It's just been Beaubien and Starocco for every season, and adding a third arm would really help.
Finnegan fouls that one back. 0-2.
And it would particularly help in days like today when Beaubien doesn't have it. Inserting Jakassi, if Jakassi is effective, is a luxury, and you don't have to burn through Starocco either, who pitched a complete game yesterday and pitched a complete game on Wednesday.
Low and outside. Miss for ball one.
Jakassi, just a freshman, you could see the potential there and the way she handles herself in the circle, especially in jams like the first inning.
Last pitch just got a bit away from her. This one off speed, guess just a bit outside for ball two.
She's been rather confident with that off-speed pitch this afternoon, and it's been pretty effective. Some wicked break on it.
That pitch will be hit foul on the right side. Slow lob, probably catchable if it was just a bit more in for the outfielder.
Saw the wind kind of take that one a little bit, tail that one well into foul territory. Flag is blowing to right field.
2-2 still for Finnegan. Finnegan fouls that one back. She's right on that.
Finnegan working a nice turn at bat here. Not relenting easily, forcing Jakassi to work a little harder. No score, top of the second.
Might come back with the off speed. Fouled, hit really slowly to Esmond at first base. She'll step on the bag, and that'll be 3 outs.
Cue shot up the line right off the end of the bat, a little nubber. Easy play for Esmond, so a clean inning for Jakassi. 5 up, 5 down through her relief appearance so far, and will bring Michigan up to the dish. Game unfolding similarly to yesterday's game when it was no score into the bottom of the fourth, and the Wolverines finally broke through and wound up with the 8-0 victory. The score, a bit of an anomaly. The game was far closer than it would indicate.
Jakassy's done a great job of stepping up when the team needed her most, and she's looked, especially for a freshman, looked incredibly confident. You can't tell if there's any nerves there. Doing exactly what the team needs her to do and stepping in herself each more with every at bat. Leading off the bottom of the second is first baseman Esmond for the Michigan Wolverines. 300 hitter, 478 slugger with 27 hits this season and 20 RBI, but also 23 strikeouts. Lingenfelter started off the first inning with 2 runners on, was able to prevent the Wolverines from scoring any runs. Got out of her respective jams for both starting pitchers in the first inning, but Lingenfelter was able to recover on her own. First pitch by Esmond ripped into left field just past the shortstop for a single. Great contact on that one.
Good first pitch hitting by Esmond. Gets Michigan with a leadoff base runner for the second time in as many innings today.
Left-handed batter just able to get it out there, knock it in right past the shortstop, just over her head. Audrey Leclerc going to look to knock Esmond in, hopefully, maybe just over a couple bases, but continue the hitting. Almost looks like she's going to slap it, but pulls back for ball one. Bit high. Step back into the box. Left-handed hitter. She will slap that second one. Perfectly placed. They can only get the out at first, and Esmond will move up a bag. Oh, and it'll appear they did not get her. They did get her. Okay.
Brief
Bit of
conversation at first base to see if
It was close.
Coombs, who was covering, was on the bag, I believe. But she was.
Perfectly placed slap right down the third base line. They had no shot of getting Esmond. As Kirsten will come up to bat. Dead ball. It hit Kirsten. So there's runners at first and second now. One out with Ella McVeigh, the freshman, hitting .242 on the season. 16 hits. Never mind, there's a pinch hitter.
Annabelle Widra is going to come in and pinch hit. We saw her pinch hit in yesterday's ball game. She'll do the same here.
Also a freshman.
In relief of McVeigh, who's hitting just .242 on the year. So Widra will come to the dish instead. This freshman who plays both ways, pitches and hits. Has made an impact this season.
Popped over to the third base side into the stands for strike one.
He's hitting .304 on the year. Got hit by a pitch yesterday. Eventually came around to score.
17 hits and 20 strikeouts for Widra. She's a big swinger. Nice low off speed, but couldn't get Widra to bite, and is not going to get the call. So that's ball one.
Widra showing good discipline there. Coming off the bench, not always an easy thing to do, especially with two ducks on the pond.
She's looking for something she can hit, and it wasn't that. That is, though. But it'll be caught by Jones, the left fielder. Nobody moves.
Just a harmless fly ball off her bat there. Jones had it lined up perfectly, and no opportunity for anyone to advance with that hit to relatively shallow left field. That'll turn the tables, though, to Burkhardt, who's been on a tear. Roped a single to center, and Penn State wants to have a meeting in the circle here with Burkhardt coming to the dish. Hitting .436 now.
Burkhardt, obviously, a threat here. Wanting to talk about how they're going to approach this. With two runners on, that's Esmond at second and Kirsten at first, who was hit by the pitch. The first pitch in her at-bat.
Burkhardt drilled a single back into center to reach in the first. She has been on a tear with that average up to .436.
A lot of runners on in this ball game so far.
A
lot of runs.
No one has cracked through yet. We saw Michigan crack through first yesterday. It took until the fourth, though. See if they could get on the board earlier here.
First pitch, right up on the handle, fouled off to the left side.
Burkhardt got that in on her hands. Good pitch from Lingenfelter, getting herself ahead. 0-1.
A little awkward swing by Burkhardt there. That basically same position, except this time will be fouled right into the stands.
Yeah, she got that one up and over the netting. Nothing like a souvenir.
That they immediately toss back.
Apparently not.
There
Nothing
are no
like
souvenirs.
a souvenir. It's the thought that counts.
Probably won't. This one shouldn't. Yeah, low and away on that one, hoping to get Burkhardt to bite. Nothing doing, though, so I'll be 1-2.
Good eye from Burkhardt there.
Ball bounced right around home plate, so
Lingenfelter just wasting that pitch.
Lingenfelter's low off speeds don't really break so much as they just start low and end lower.
That one just missed. Penn State's dugout jumping up in agony and now giving a glare towards Charles McManus behind the dish. Confident take that time by Burkhart.
Felter's going to have to keep it inside even more so if she wants to get that call, or she's got to make Burkhart miss. Fouled off the knob of the bat there.
Bit of a check swing there from Burkhart. Stays alive nonetheless.
Inside on the hands again. Was only able to get the knob on it, but doesn't hurt. Count remains 2-2. That one is knocked foul, but caught by the right fielder, Finnegan, to end the inning.
Great running catch by Finnegan. Burkhart gave it a drive, wound up in foul territory again with the wind tailing that way, but Finnegan had it read every beat. And long strides to get to that ball, looked rather graceful doing so, and made it look easy. And so we've got no score through 2, heading to the top of the 3rd. Jakassi back out for more. She relieved Beaubien in the first, inheriting a bases-loaded one-out jam, got 2 quick outs, and then pitched a 1-2-3 second. And so she's back on the mound, or in the circle rather, for the 3rd, while she'll face the top of the order for Penn State.
Lindmark, Kurland, and Marcotte.
Lindmark reached to lead off the game on a 4-pitch walk. Kurland was retired on a rocket to left, and then Marcotte got hit by a pitch. Neither would come around to score, though, as the Nittany Lions stranded 3 in the first. Michigan has stranded a number of runners themselves. Stranded 4 through the first 2 innings. They've gotten 3 hits. Nothing to show for it, and so we're scoreless through 2. Wolverines riding a 3-game winning streak, still buried down there in the Big Ten standings, but beginning to play more confidently and look a bit better themselves. Penn State right above them at 4-3 in conference. Michigan at 3-4.
Penn State obviously hoping to have a bit more success with their top of the lineup this time. Of course, part of that was just Beaubien having a bit of accuracy issues, as none of the first 3 batters reached on a hit. Kurland is 0-1, and Lindmark and Marcotte are both 0-0, as Lindmark reached on a walk and Marcotte being hit by that pitch.
Annabelle Woodrow, who was retired as a pinch hitter, has stayed in the game at shortstop for Ella McVeigh. First pitch to Cassie Lindmark, skips into the plate on a couple of bounces. Jakassi misses for ball 1.
It happens. Sometimes, a pitch just gets away from you and bounces halfway in front of the plate.
Jakassi will look to settle back in here. Top of the 3rd, no score, Michigan and Penn State. An overcast Saturday afternoon here in Ann Arbor at Alumni Field. We've got the baseball team playing as well. That's over on WCBN2 if you're interested. The 1-0, up and in. Did it hit her? It did. It clipped her on the shoulder. And so Penn State, for the second time in 3 frames, has a leadoff base runner, as Cassie Lindmark gets hit by a pitch, and that is not a coincidence. Someone might have to check Cassie Lindmark for magnets, because she's been hit by 12 pitches this season. That's more than everyone else in Penn State's lineup combined. The Nittany Lions, as a roster, have 11 hit by pitches, and she now has 12. First pitch to Allie Kurland. High pop-up. Will it stay in play behind the plate? Carson over, so is Esmond, and she'll make the catch a bit up that first base line for the out.
Almost hit a mile high, but stayed in, luckily, with that net there, and also maybe thought it was going to go out up into the stands. There's a lot of wind here, but got a little bit lucky right under Esmond.
I want to
make the first out.
I want to go back to the hit by pitches, because everyone in Michigan's lineup today has 13 total. She's got 12 by herself.
She is taking one for the team 12 times.
It's just dedication. First pitch comes in a bit high to Lauren Marcotte. Lindmark seems no worse for the wear after that hit by pitch. She's the runner at first with 1 away. First runner that Jakassi has allowed this afternoon through 7 batters. She's now pitched 2 scoreless innings. 1-0 to Marcotte, fouled straight back, 1-1. It caroms off the netting.
Almost hit her. think it'd be funny to be hit by your own foul ball.
That one did come pretty close to clanking off her helmet. Happens sometimes with the ricochets you get off the netting. There's netting all the way down the first and third base lines here at Alumni Field, as there should be. 1-1 to Marcotte. Lays off the low off-speed pitch, and it's 2-1.
Just a little too low. Didn't come in the same angle as her changeup normally has been. Wasn't going to get Marcotte to bite.
Lindmark, the catcher at first, not much of a threat to run, has tried just one steal attempt on the year. She did reach successfully. 2-1 coming to Marcotte. Cut on and miss a high rise ball, and it's 2-2. Again, heat from Jakassi.
That was a perfect rise there. Marcotte nearly swung out of her shoes.
Lexi Black looms on deck. She ripped a single for the lone Penn State hit of the day. The 2-2 driven to center. Easing in is Burkhart. She'll make the catch. And holding on at first is Lindmark. So back-to-back pop-outs induced by Jakassi. 2 away. Lindmark still out first with Lexi Black coming to the plate.
Didn't get the best contact on it. Marcotte also just not the biggest slugging threat, only .323. So even if she got a solid piece of it, not going to go that far.
Lexi Black, more of a slugging threat herself, slugs .563, has 7 home runs to her name, and takes the first fastball up and in for ball 1.
Real tight strike zone today.
Lindmark, the runner at first. 2 away in the top of the third. No score between Michigan and Penn State. Second game of this weekend series. Wolverines took the opener yesterday, 8-0 in a run rule. Here comes the 1-0. Cut on and miss on a fastball. Jakassi just reared back and threw it right by Black. 1-1.
Really good placement on that. Black had no shot.
One and one the count. Jakassi deals. Upstairs, rides high, 2-1.
Caught a bit outside too, so not going to fool anyone with that one.
The game unfolding similarly to yesterday. It was scoreless into the bottom of the fourth. Less hits in that game up until Michigan's offensive explosion. Today, more so a theme of stranded runners. Here's the 2-1 to Black. Pop foul. That's going to go up over the netting and out of play. Thuds off the stairs. See if anyone wants it. No one's scampering towards it. A loose softball.
It's over there somewhere.
Okay, there we go. And she's got to throw it back to the event team. Oh, no. She chucked it into the railing, and it came right back to her.
That dude's like, I will take it, and then
2-2, off speed, got her looking. Jakassi mixes things up. She's through the top of the third. We're scoreless. Penn State and Michigan heading to the bottom of the frame.
Jakassi did a great job dealing with that top of the lineup, which she didn't face in that first inning. Obviously, that was Beaubien, who got herself into a jam. Jakassi came in for her, was able to take care of them pretty cleanly.
Jakassi dispatching the lineup with ease. 1-2 in the lineup in particular for Penn State are the dynamic duo. 3 and 4 not too shabby, and then there's a real drop-off from there. See if Michigan can strike here in the bottom of the third. Wolverines will have 2, 3, and 4 in the order, starting off with Ellie Sealer, then Hannah Carson, and the red-hot Melina Livingston. And they'll go to work against a new pitcher for Penn State. Lingenfelter's day is done. Two scoreless innings, allowed 3 hits and a strikeout across 10 batters faced through 30 pitches.
New pitchers Vanessa Oatley, the junior, also left-handed.
And Oatley's got a 3.43 ERA on the year for Penn State. Doesn't allow a lot of base runners. Has a 1.44 whip. It's pitched just 16 in the third innings, 15 hits, 8 walks to 9 strikeouts. Not the ideal ratio there. See what she has in store for the Nittany Lions today, entering the scoreless game in the bottom of the third.
Seeing some walks in this game already. Hoping, if you're the Wolverines, hoping to add some more.
Ellie Sealer, slap hitter, couldn't get the bunt down back in the first, just as she failed to do yesterday. Wound up grounding into a force out at third and was eventually stranded.
Hasn't really been able to get anything down over on that left side by Leone.
Left-handed hitter takes the first pitch for a strike, so Oatley opens up her afternoon with a strike. Corners pinched in at first and third. Leone and Black, perhaps anticipating either a bunt or a slap to lead off this frame. Michigan's got 3 hits on the afternoon. They've stranded 4 runners. Here comes the 1-0 to Sealer. That tails in low, 1-1. Sealer hitting a flat 200 right at that Mendoza line. And out here she'll fall below it. A hit, she'll stay above.
No pressure.
The 1-1 is low. Of course, you could just walk and defer it to the next at-bat.
That one was in the dirt. Almost in by Sealer's feet.
So Oatley has fallen behind her first batter of the afternoon. Second pitcher of the day for Penn State. We've seen 2 pitchers from Michigan. Here's the 2-1. Catches the outside corner at the letters, and it's 2-2.
Maybe a bit high. I'm not really sure what the strike zone is today.
It's Charles McManus, who we've mentioned quite a few times behind home plate calling balls and strikes today. 2-2 from Oatley. Sealer lets it go by low, ball 3. And so Sealer's worked a full count.
That one also in the dirt.
Michigan's had a leadoff runner in the first via a Burkhart single and the second via an Essman single. Can they do it again? The 3-2. Chop to first, ranging and making the play is Black, sprawling out on the ground, but calling it foul is McManus. Black ranging to her left, but just barely was foul, and so we'll have a payoff pitch upcoming.
Great piece of fielding.
Black flashing the leather.
But doesn't matter.
3-2 to Sealer. Lifted down the left field line, easing over as Jones in foul territory, and she makes the catch, running into the sidewall as she held on, was able to brace herself just enough, and a nice athletic play out in left field for Leanna Jones to retire Sealer to begin the bottom of the third.
Wind definitely giving her a boost there, keeping it in play.
I'll bring up Hannah Carson. Carson ripped a single into right field back in the first. Now hitting .298 on the year. First pitch from Oatley, and she takes a big hack and fouls it straight back, 0-1.
Straight off the mask of Cassie Lindmark. She looks fine, though.
Carson, left-handed hitter against Oatley, the left-handed thrower. Was unfazed by the lefty-lefty matchup back in the first with Lingenfelter. See what happens second time around today here. With Lexi Blair's sideline, a lot more of the run-scoring onus falls to Carson, and she's really stepped up the past few games after struggling over the weekend in Northwestern, has rounded back into form. Here's the 0-1 that bounces into the plate, 1-1.
Oatley really does not have a threat on these low pitches. I haven't seen her throw one below the knees. It hasn't ended up in the dirt. So it's probably a good plan for the Wolverine hitters to just lay off the low ones.
Command has been a problem for Oatley. She walks nearly a batter every 2 innings as Carson fouls that straight back up and over the netting and into the seats. It's 1-2.
Straight back on that one.
So 1-2 to Carson, looking to give Michigan a base runner here as the Wolverines try to strike first in a scoreless game. We're in the bottom of the third. Michigan and Penn State. Here's the 1-2. Carson able to hold back on another pitch in the dirt, and it's 2-2. Oatley not fooling anyone with those off-speed pitches so far through 2 batters.
There's almost no break on them. They just start broken.
Two from Oatley to Carson. Swing and a miss. She struck her out. Chased that fastball away. And 2 up, 2 down to begin the afternoon for Vanessa Oatley, right? And going through the heart of Michigan's lineup. And that'll hand things over to Melina Livingston, who's hitting a cool .400 on the year as a 2-game home run streak, or only 2 home runs on the season. A line drive to right field into the bleachers on Wednesday, and parked one into left center yesterday afternoon. First pitch to Livingston is low, 1-0.
And it wasn't in the dirt. Improvement.
Oatley trying to get that ball up.
Flew out to center in her first at bat.
1-0 to Livingston. Flares it into left center. That's going to get down. It lands for a base hit. Right in front of Crothamel, and Melina Livingston gives Michigan a 2-out base runner.
Had 3 girls running after it, but it was just in the perfect spot that nobody was going to get to it.
Dunked it in there. Couldn't have placed it any better. And that's just kind of how things go when you're hitting 400 on the season.
A lot of it's skill and part of it's luck, and that was just perfectly placed. And the wind didn't seem to knock it over at anyone. 4th
hit of the day now for the Wolverines. First pitch to Taylor Bump, skips in the dirt, and it's 1-0. Michigan just 1 of 6 so far this afternoon with runners on base.
No stolen base attempts for Livingston, so don't have to worry about that, probably.
Bump has been in a bit more of a groove of late after struggling through most of this season. Here comes the 1-0. Just below the knees, 2-0, says Charles McManus. And Oatley has fallen behind Bump. Esmond waits on deck. She's singled in her only at-bat so far today. Livingston on at first. Here comes the 2-0. That's at the knees. 2-1, a fastball. And so Oatley gets a much-needed strike. Bump gave the Wolverines the lead yesterday, breaking a scoreless tie. And she lines that one into left center. That's down for a base hit. Livingston rounds second. It's going to go to the wall. It's fielded by Crothamel. Livingston's going to round third. The relay throw to the plate. Not in time. She scores. Taylor Bump puts Michigan on top 1-0 with a 2-out RBI double. And the Wolverines lead 1-0.
Nice little guitar celebration from Bump at second base. Perfect hit. Just broke in between the left and center fielder. Went all the way to the wall.
And Taylor Bump continues to hit. She continues to drive in runs. For the last 3 games now, she's given Michigan the lead first. This time with an RBI double, laced it into the left center field gap. And we mentioned that Livingston hadn't stolen a base this season, but she was flying, running first to home, really moving fast, and was able to beat the relay throw from Marcotte with relative ease.
That was great base running by Livingston. She read that perfectly.
And now a meeting at the circle for Penn State. Michigan looking for more with Bump at second. Still 2 away, and Lauren Esmond coming to the plate.
Great for Taylor Bump in order to get that, break the 0-0 score, put the Wolverines up top here in the bottom of the 3rd.
Kylie Lingenfelter, through 2 frames, was able to wiggle her way out of trouble. Vanessa Oatley not having the same luck. Here's the left-handed hitting Esmond, takes a fastball just outside, 1-0. Bump, not too fleet of foot on second.
Very nice way to say they're not going to steal.
That's why they pay me the big bucks. Oatley in the circle, trying to limit the damage. The 1-0 fouled straight back off the netting, and it's 1-1.
Esmond this season batting nearly 400 with runners in scoring position, which is not a real stat, but I digress.
Well, Michigan 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position today as that one skips in the dirt again. How many pitches has Oatley thrown in the dirt?
I wanted to count them, but I felt like that might have been mean. So I haven't been counting them because I've been told I'm too negative sometimes.
I think she owes her catcher, Cassie Lindmark, a dinner.
So I've just been very courteously not been counting the balls in the dirt.
Well, that wasn't in the dirt, but it wasn't in the strike zone. It's 3-1 as it sails high. If Esmond is to reach, the baton will be passed to Audrey LeClaire. Bump the runner at second, 2 away here in the bottom of the 3rd. Michigan has just cracked the scoreboard first via that RBI double from Bump. Wolverines lead 1-0. And now the batter's asked for time. Back into the circle, back into the box. Ready for the 3-1. Bump on at second. Here it comes. Swing and a miss. Went after a fastball, and the count is full. So Oatley a strike away from limiting the damage to just 1 run and keeping this game within arm's length for a Nittany Lions team that hasn't scored this series through 8 innings. They've been completely blanked. 3-2 coming from Oatley to Esmond is fouled straight back, and we'll do it again.
That one was high this time, but was able to get a piece of it.
So 6th pitch of the at-bat upcoming. Or 7th pitch, rather. Too many to keep track of. Oatley deals to Esmond, and that is just outside, ball 4. Esmond with a tough take. She works the walk. Penn State's dugout, again, not having it with Charles McManus. And now Michigan has 2 runners on with 2 away, looking to build off its 1-0 lead. And they're going to have a pinch hitter. It was going to be Audrey LeClaire in the 7th hole. It's going to be Kiki Thole instead. So they'll get the right-handed hitter up against a left-handed pitcher.
Would have been real hard for McManus to call that if you're not calling low pitches at all this game. I understand Penn State's frustration, but got to stay consistent. Or you'll get replaced by a robot.
Soon enough.
It's going to happen.
Right, so Kiki.
What happens if it breaks?
I don't know.
Mid-game.
So what I've always wondered in that is what happens when someone's upset on ejections.
You yell at the robot.
I feel like, from what I've heard, is they're still going to have the physical humans, but they get the calls.
They just get to be yelled at.
And what happens if they don't? The robot says strike and it's a ball. So much at play. Here's Kiki Thole, takes it below the knees, ball 1. For now, though, we're lucky to be in the presence of Charles McManus. No robot just yet.
There's another time called, this time by the Penn State coach.
Really trying to nurse Oatley through this half inning. She's already been tagged for 1 run. 2 runners stand on base. Bump on at second. Esmond at first. And Kiki Thole, who's hitting just 178 on the season, but has some power with 3 home runs and 45 at-bats at the plate. Crowd getting into it here. Another good crowd on hand at Alumni Field despite the nippy weather. Temperature in the high 30s.
Bump was leading them in the Go Blue chant there for a little bit.
It's good to see Taylor bump into it after all the struggles she's had this season, but the last few games she has come up instrumental.
When you play better, you feel better, and vice versa.
1-0 to Thole, big cut, and she fouls it straight back up and over the stadium, so no Usher has to worry about getting that softball back.
That's lost.
1-1 the count to Kiki Thole in the bottom of the 3rd. Bump the runner at second. Esmond on at first. Oatley trying to get through the inning, having just allowed that 1 run.
Low average, but 400 slugging percentage. Going to, once again, big swings.
And Thole takes a strike, so Oatley ahead in the count 1-2. Thole pinch hitting here for Audrey LeClaire, getting that righty-lefty matchup as opposed to the lefty-lefty.
I did not realize how many left-handers there are on this Michigan roster, especially in the starting lineup today.
1-2, Thole watches it high, 2-2. Burkhart, Sealer, Carson, Esmond, LeClaire, Kirsten, McVeigh. Only the 4 and 5 hitters, Livingston, Bump, aren't left-handed hitters. And so Thole, somewhat of a revelation, hitting for the right-handed side. Here's the 2-2, flares it foul, wide of third. It juts off the sidewall.
Pulled that one all the way around. Bit too out ahead of that.
See if she can iron it out here. 6th pitch of the at-bat to come between Thole and Oatley. The relief pitcher against the pinch hitter. Michigan up 1-0, looking for more. Here comes the 2-2 to Thole. She lays off, low and away, ball 3. And Kiki Thole, working a good turner at bat, has drawn this count full.
That pitch landed in the left batter's box. This is also the first time in my entire life I've seen a right side batter's box look better than the left one.
It's true. Here comes the 3-2 to Thole. Up and in, I think it hit her. It did. Kiki Thole will take the base. It was going to be ball 4 anyhow. And the bases are loaded, full of Wolverines, with Sierra Kirsten coming to the plate.
There's going to be a pinch runner for Thole. And it is LeClaire.
So LeClaire re-enters.
to run for her pinch hitter.
Complicated stuff.
Yes.
Bump on the runner at third. Eshman, the runner at second. LeClaire, the runner at first. Kirsten, the hitter at the dish. Oatley has worked herself into another jam. She retired the first 2 hitters of the inning, and it's all gone downhill since. A Livingston single, a bump double, an Eshman walk, and now a hit by pitch to Thole. First pitch to Kirsten. Takes a strike. 0-1.
Bit outside, pulled back, but ended up being called strike.
Kirsten trying to break this game open for Michigan. We saw the Wolverines do just that yesterday, turning a 0-0 game into an 8-0 game in the blink of an eye. The 0-1 high pop-up, and that's going to go into the stands on the first base side.
And almost hit somebody.
Instead, a nice one-hop snag by a fan. He'll have to give that right back. Anyhow, Kirsten has fallen behind 0-2. She's no stranger to the strikeout, having struck out 28 times this year. Trying to fend off Oatley. Here comes the 0-2 from Oatley. And did she go around? They'll check with the third base umpire. Terry Holt says she did. And so Kirsten goes down on 3 pitches. A disappointing at-bat there. And Michigan leaves 3. They do score 1 off the double from Taylor Bump.
Coach having a couple words with Holt.
Carol Hutchins not so pleased there. Stalking back to the dugout. Making sure she talks to all the umpires.
Gotta get all 3.
Well, it was a bit of a weird situation because the ask to check with the third base umpire was so delayed. Terry Holt, of course, can't ring Kirsten up unless he's asked. And as soon as he was asked, he wasted no time saying Kirsten went. I tend to agree with him. Carol Hutchins does not.
And the Wolverines pitcher will remain Jakassi. Understandable, she's doing real well. And she will start off by facing... Leone, followed by Jones, and then Krauthamel. All 3 0-for-1 today. Looking to tie this game back up, maybe even put 2 runs up to get a lead. Jakassi pitching real well in this game today. Looking to prevent that. Penn State hitting just 1-10 for a 100 batting average. 1 walk, 3 strikeouts in this game. Batting 143 with runners on and 333 with runners in scoring position. Leone will be the first batter faced by Jakassi here in this 4th inning. I promise I know how to count. And it's another right-handed hitter, as there's only 1 lefty on the Penn State squad. First pitch fouled left side. They'll go into the stands.
If this window was open, could have reached out and grabbed it.
Yeah, you could have gotten there. It was definitely very close and reachable.
Just got to throw myself out the window a little bit, like launch myself.
I would not pull you back in.
I'll find my way.
Second pitch, slow and in the dirt, bounces right in front of the catcher. Carson for ball 1.
It's easy to forget, now that we're in the 4th inning, that Jakassi didn't start this game. She relieved Megan Bobian with a bases-loaded 1-out situation in the first.
That one, you could have...
That one was better.
Yeah. There's a roof above us, but if there wasn't, you could have gotten that one. Fouled to the right side.
I feel like I'm the magnet. I've taken the magnets from Cassie Lindmark.
And now it's you. Every single foul ball is going to be hit here.
2 in a row.
1 and 2's the count for Leone. High and outside. Can't get Leone to bite. 2 and 2.
Leone was the first batter that Jakassi faced in this ballgame. Struck her out on 3 pitches in that first inning jam. Then got Leanna Jones to fly out to right.
That one was hit, though, to the left fielder. Bounces right in front of her. That'll be a single for Leone. Second hit of the day for the Nittany Lions.
A good piece of hitting from Leone. Penn State has its second hit of the afternoon. First in a while.
There's going to be... Nope, there's some discussion going on. Not sure what this is about. Oh, runner. Pinch runner, that's number 5, Lydia Coleman, the freshman for the Nittany Lions. Be pinch running for Leone, as Leona Jones is up to bat.
Second pinch runner we've seen Penn State use this afternoon. First was Shelley Rivard back in the first.
She'll put a bunt down. Well played, however, by Bump. The lead runner will advance, but they get the out at first.
Well played by both sides. Well done by Jones to get that bunt down on the first try. And so Penn State is a runner in scoring position against Jakassi for the first time since that first inning when she was able to escape the jam.
Coming up at the bottom of the order, which Jakassi was able to retire in 3 outs in the second inning. First pitch fouled straight back by Krauthamel.
Good swing by Krauthamel. She was right on that one. See if she could straighten it out for the Nittany Lions here.
223 hitter, 265 with runners in scoring position. Just share for anyone who believes in that stat. That one was slow, but I guess a bit too high.
Just missed there for Jakassi. 3 scoreless innings so far in the afternoon for Jakassi with 3 strikeouts. Only thrown 40 pitches, pretty economical.
That one inside.
And Taylor Bump has her hands up at third. She's screaming, "Where is that?" I thought the last one was a ball. I thought this one was a strike. Granted, we don't have the best view up elevated on the first base side here, but it looked good to me.
And I don't know what the strike zone is today. Looked like it was going to be a slap attempt there. Didn't go for it, but it was called a strike anyway. 2-2.
Wherever that strike zone is, that was in it.
Yes.
So here we are, 2-2.
It changes every pitch. You know what? It keeps the game fun and exciting.
Keeps us on our toes.
2-2 pitch. Swung on, hit out to... Going to be caught by Leclerc, but almost ran into...
Well, Leclerc made the catch.
Burkhart there.
And no one called off between Leclerc and Burkhart. I'm sure they're going to talk to each other in the dugout and perhaps get a talking to. Thankfully, for their sakes, Leclerc was able to hold on, even as she thudded into Burkhart. It was a soft collision, so nothing to worry about injury-wise, just for communications purposes. Something that the two of them will need to iron out.
Hit almost right in between the two of them. Luckily, the out was made for the second out of the inning. No problems there. As we're going to get a pinch hitter. And that's Caitlyn Morrison.
Coleman still on at second. She carries the potential tying run. Michigan's up 1-0. Wolverines struck first in the bottom of the third. An RBI double to left center off the bat of Taylor Bump, who continues her recent hot streak.
Morrison, the junior for the Nittany Lions, batting .333. 430 on base and .458 slugging percentage. And only 24 at-bats. Looking to drive in Coleman on second. First pitch in for a strike. Second, also in for a strike. Morrison will just watch it go by her. That was basically textbook.
Jakassi doing exactly what she needs to do here to retire the side, pouring in strikes, just like she started her day back in the first in that big log jam.
Looking to put away Morrison and the inning here. Rise ball. Can't get anything from Morrison there, so it'll continue. 1-2 is our count here in the top of the fourth. It's very cold today, so there's that. I have no analysis. It's just very cold. That'll be slapped down the third base side foul. Came all the way around on that one. Just a bit too ahead on it.
Well, good swing by Morrison after not taking the bat off her shoulders throughout the at-bat prior to that pitch. But just jumped on it a little too quickly, hooked it foul.
Count stays 1-2, 2 outs. 2 hits for the Nittany Lions. 2-1 at bat. A lot of twos. That was a really high pitch. Rise ball that rose way too much. Corralled, though, by Carson.
So Morrison's worked her way back into the at-bat after falling behind 0-2. The potential tying run out at second in Coleman. Jakassi trying to wiggle her way out of a jam.
That one will land in for strike 3. Morrison does nothing but watch it go by.
A beautiful pitch by Jakassi. Went to the off-speed, just froze Morrison, buckled her knees, and got out of the jam again, just as she did in the first. Penn State continues to be blanked on the scoreboard now. Through 9 innings in this series, Nittany Lions have yet to score.
That'll end the top of the 4th inning. Brilliant work by Jakassi again. Up to bat is Widra.
And Widra stayed in this game after pinch hitting for McVeigh, playing shortstop.
Looking to get something started here. The very bottom of the lineup before hitting the top again. Hoping to pile on 1-0 as our score. The bottom of the 4th.
And Oatley back out for more. The second pitcher of the day for Penn State. Allowed 1 run in her first inning of work in the 3rd.
Yeah, I want to get her some more opportunities there. Was able to close out the inning successfully. So hoping that she'll not allow any more runners on. Not allow the Wolverines to tack on anymore. We are hoping to do the opposite. Once again, another lefty. Almost goes for a slap bunt. Doesn't, though. Pulls off as it's going to be low for ball 1. She'll step back in against Oatley. Slap it back. Foul, though.
Oatley allowed 4 base runners in that inning of work. Was able to escape, allowing just that 1 run. Now trying to keep the Wolverines' bats at bay and give her own offense a chance to come back in this one, because the way things are going right now for Penn State, a few more runs here and this game's out of reach.
She'll launch one in between the right and center fielder, but it'll be collected, held to a single, but great hit by Widra to start the inning.
Well, Crofhamel was shaded that way in center field, and then she did a great job to cut that ball off before it got to the wall, and that's why Widra is on first here, but that turns the batting order over for Christina Burkhardt, who's been red hot.
Easily could have been a double, but Crofhamel played it pretty perfectly. First pitch for Burkhardt. She'll hit it right past the second baseman for a single of her own. 2 runners on, no outs here in the bottom of the 4th.
Another hard hit. Good first pitch hitting from Burkhardt, lacing it to right. Michigan's got something cooking here. First and second, nobody out. We'll see what Sealer's asked to do here. She's frequently asked to bunt. You got the big boys behind her with Carson, Livingston, and Bump, so
great start for the Wolverines. There's somebody warming up in the Penn State bullpen, but I'm not sure whether it doesn't appear that they're going to go to her yet. But there is somebody in there warming up.
Well, Oatley has now allowed 6 batters to reach of the 9 she's faced.
Sealer. Partial with a P. That is her name. Bailey Partial, the senior for Penn State, will come in for Vanessa Oatley. Try and get them out of this situation they've put themselves in. 2 on. Bottom of the fourth, no outs. With Sealer up to bat. She'll get a couple warm-up pitches. Left-hander.
Well, Bailey Partial started the game yesterday.
That is a wind-up. I'm not judging. She just squats.
Well, she was great.
Lunges.
She was great for Penn State yesterday through 3 frames and 3 hitless innings, and then fell apart in the fourth. Wound up giving up 3 earned runs total, 2 hits, 2 walks, struck out 4, faced 15 batters across just 62 pitches, so we'll see how fresh that arm is today.
Well, would you look at the inning?
It's the fourth.
We'll see how today goes in comparison.
Well, Michigan, this game could be much different right now if Michigan's pitcher that was brought in a jam in the first inning didn't get out of it. That was Jakassi in relief of Beaubien. Entered with the bases loaded and just 1 away. Got a quick strikeout and a flyout, 5 pitches out of the jam. If Partial can do something similar here with runners on first and second, nobody out, 2, 3, and 4 in Michigan's lineup upcoming, that would certainly bode well for Penn State's chances of coming back in this one.
This is the last time I'm going to comment on the wind-up by Partial. She's like lunging. She gets down there. I've never seen that before.
Whatever it is, it's effective. She has just a 1.55 ERA on the season.
Because you're busy watching her. First pitch, attempted bunt by Sealer, but it'll foul straight back. Strike 1.
Sealer continues to struggle to get that bunt down, but she continues to be asked to do it. They've taken it off at some times. I got to think they're going to keep it on here, trying to get those runners to second and third, those all-important insurance runs here in the bottom of the fourth.
Got to be careful about how she places it. Pulls back, strike 2, though.
And she did the same thing in the last at-bat. She bunted first and then pulled it back for the second pitch and took a strike.
So if we had to guess, this will be a slap down the third base side.
And they'll get a force at second.
Got to be really careful, obviously, though, here with how it's placed. Don't want to give them a chance to turn 2 and don't want to get that lead runner.
Well, it was a slap towards third, just foul.
I love being right. Yes, that'll be foul. Stay strike 2. Trying to advance those 2 runners, Widra and Burkhart, with Hannah Carson up next.
3, 4, 5 in the order. Carson, Livingston, Bump. Those are your big hitters.
Next pitch is slapped first base side. They can only manage to get Sealer.
Well, also de facto bunt. If you can't get the bunt down, just hit it to the right side. Advances the runners all the same. And Michigan just where it wanted to be. Runners at second and third with just 1 away and Carson coming to the plate.
Carson, 294, 471 slugging percentage. That'll be high and outside for ball 1. Little off speed there, didn't really work. Carson will step back in the box. Hit just past the first baseman. They're going to call it foul.
That was close down the first base line. Just a scorcher off the bat of Carson.
That easily would have scored both runners on. But unfortunately, they're just going to say it was foul. And she'll step back in the box, 1-1. Pulled that one all the way around to the first baseman as Carson's a lefty. She was out in front of it. And way behind that one, great pitch order for Partial, coming back with that off speed.
Just a tremendous pitch from Partial. Had Carson so far out in front of the off-speed pitch.
1-2. 1 out. Runners on second and third for the Wolverines. See what Partial goes for here. Outside. Probably getting talked to by the Penn State dugout. But as we've mentioned multiple times, I don't think anyone knows what the strike zone is. So who are they to say that that should have been a strike? 2-2. Hit to the first base side. They're going to run at Carson. Tagged by the first baseman.
Tremendous wherewithal by Black at first. The ball was hit to her. Instead of turning her back on the third base runner, Widra, and going to tag the bag, she ran towards Carson, thereby holding the runner. And now the baton is passed to Livingston. If Michigan is going to want to extend its lead here, it's all up to her.
Livingston, the best player to do it. 413 hitter. 522 with runners in scoring position. 579 with 2 people out. And 1 for 2 in today's game. Got a hit in her last at bat. That one will be almost a blooper. Nope, it'll be just hit hard enough to be caught by the right fielder. That'll end the inning. Crisis averted for the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Well, it hung up just long enough for Finnegan to get to it, and credit to Bailey Parshall for coming into a jam, first and second, nobody out, and getting out of it with ease. Similar to what happened back in the first, with Jakassi relieving Beaubien. Michigan wastes an opportunity. They've got 7 hits, but just 1 run to show for it through 4. So 1-0 the score here at Alumni Field as we head to the top of the 5th. Wolverines trying to win their 4th consecutive game today. A win streak that spans 3 teams in just under a week. Started last Sunday in Evanston with the finale of a 3-game set against Northwestern. Continued Wednesday against Michigan State here at Alumni Field. And again last night with the victory over Penn State 8-0 in a run rule in the 5th inning. Michigan nursing a 1-0 lead here. Jakassi has been tremendous, 3.2 one-hit innings, striking out 4, not walking a batter in relief of Megan Beaubien, who was pulled in the first after allowing 3 runners to reach and recording just 1 out. The big hit today on the offensive side of things was Taylor Bump, ripped a 2-out RBI double into the left center field gap that scored Melina Livingston. And that's where things stand right now in the top of the 5th, with the Wolverines on top 1-0.
It'll be Kurland, Marcotte, Black. 2, 3, 4, heart of the lineup for Jakassi. The top of the 5th.
Well, so Finnegan will lead off here for Penn State against Jakassi, the number 9 hitter. And she takes that first pitch low and in, ball 1. Finnegan hitting just 127 on the season. Jakassi has been splendid so far this afternoon.
Finnegan ended the chances of the Wolverines by catching that right field pop-up.
And she flies that one to right. LeClaire has it all measured up. Easy can of corn. 2 pitches, 1 up, 1 down in the 5th for Jakassi.
And she'll do it herself this time. She ended the Wolverines' scoring opportunity to score, and now she'll hit it to the exact same spot where she caught that last one.
Cassie Lindmark, who's added to her astronomical hit-by-pitch ledger with a hit-by-pitch last time up, takes that one low and in, 1-0. Lindmark riding that 500 on-base percentage, the OPS over 1,100. You don't see many catchers lead off, but this one certainly deserved.
It's because she gets hit by the pitch so often.
And that one's ripped deep left center, back in the gap at the wall, it's gone! Home run for Cassie Lindmark. Blasts her 6th home run on the season, a solo shot that ties this game up at 1-1 apiece. And Jakassi tagged for the first time today. Lindmark with a no-doubter. Got out of here in a hurry. Sealer gave it a look, didn't have a chance. And just like that, with one swing of the bat, we're all tied up. And how badly does Michigan want that scoring opportunity back that it squandered in the bottom of the 4th?
One was hit like it's a solid line drive, went out right in between center and left.
6 home runs on the season for Lindmark, boosting that .624 slugging percentage. And now can Jakassi settle down? That's a strike at the letters to Allie Kurland, a power threat herself. She's got 13 on the year. Just impressive hitting, though, from Lindmark, the right-handed hitter, driving that into the left center gap. 0-1 coming to Curlin. Skips into the dish and gets by Carson.
Jakassi maybe a little shaky there after giving up that home run.
Something you have to watch for, especially with a freshman pitcher, how they respond after giving up a home run of that magnitude and surrendering the lead. 1-1 score, 1-1 count, chop to first. Esmond, easy play, takes it to the bag herself, second out of the inning.
Getting that out is really important for Jakassi there. Can't, walk or give up another hit. Need to just get right back into the swing of things, and she does that by getting the quick ground ball to the first baseman.
And that'll bring up Lauren Marcotte. He's 0 for 1 on the afternoon. 2 out, nobody on. 1-1 game here in the top of the fifth as the off-speed pitch comes in for a strike.
Her off-speed is so good.
It's really been in its element so far today. Part of the reason why Jakassi has been virtually untouched. Allowed just 2 hits through 4 1/3, with that big one coming moments ago. The home run by Lindmark to tie this game. Comes the 0-1 to Marcotte. Cut on and miss on the high fastball. And it's 0-2, so Jakassi showing no ill effect of the long ball. Coming right back and attacking hitters just like she's been doing all afternoon.
You wouldn't have even known it had happened if it wasn't on the scoreboard.
0-2 the count. Jakassi looking to retire the side. Here comes the pitch. Bends outside, 1-2.
Just a bit low, especially on Marcotte, who's not the tallest player.
Marcotte, the shortstop, slashing .278 on the season.
Sorry, you walked right into that one.
Here's the 1-2. Off speed, rises high.
Just a little bit outside as well.
2-2. Jakassi, 4 1/3 innings, a 1-run ball in relief of Megan Beaubien, who could only record 1 out this afternoon. Discouraging performance from Beaubien, but Jakassi has picked her up as the 2-2s foul straight back. 6th pitch of the at-bat upcoming, and what has become a battle between Jakassi and the 3-hitter in Penn State's order, Marcotte.
Sorry, I was looking at a baseball score.
Cardinals?
Yes, obviously.
2-2. Swing and a miss. She struck her out. Beautiful off speed and ugly hack by Marcotte.
Nasty. It was like she realized she was so far ahead of it, and she just stopped the swing. But
just like a stab at it. And Jakassi able to retire the side. She does, however, surrender the lead. A bomb off the bat of Cassie Lindmark deep into the left field, deep beyond the left center field fence. Ties this game up at 1 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. So Michigan's offense, which has tallied 7 hits, but has struggled to get the big hit this afternoon, has some work cut out for it.
It'll be Bump to start the bottom of the 5th inning.
And Bump has the big hit of the afternoon, that RBI double to left center back in the 3rd that gave Michigan the lead, a lead that held for the next 1.5 frames. Until Lindmark tied this game right back up again. And, of course, Penn State has its ace in the mound now, Bailey Parshall, who shut down the Wolverines for the most part yesterday afternoon. Parshall, the 3rd pitcher of the day for Penn State. She came into last inning relieving Oatley, who had worked her way into a jam and got 3 quick outs to retire the side unscathed.
And she has such an interesting pitching delivery. Please look it up.
5, 6, and 7 coming up. Bump, Esmond, and LeClaire for the Wolverines.
And I'm not being mean. It works, obviously. She's very good. But it's like I have never seen somebody throw it like that.
Taylor Bump, who has looked more and more like her 2021 self the last few days, strides to the plate and takes the first pitch low and away, ball 1. The 5th-year student struggled so much earlier in the season, but the last week has looked to finally be turning a corner. 1-0 count to Bump. Fastball at the knees for a strike, 1-1.
As we mentioned, I don't know what the strike zone is.
Charles McManus calling balls and strikes behind the dish. Parshall in the circle. Bump at the plate. Here comes Parcel's 1-1 off-speed pitch on the inside corner.
That was a very good pitch.
1-2. So Parcel taking a page out of Jakasski's book, going to the off-speed to buckle the knees. 1-1 the score here in the bottom of the fifth. Michigan struck first in the third via an RBI double from Taylor Bump. Penn State got even in the fifth, a home run from Cassie Lindmark as Bump fouls the 1-2 straight back. Fifth pitch of the at-bat upcoming.
She's right on that one.
1-2 the count. Parcel's retired all three batters she's faced to this point, trying to go 4 for 4. Here comes the 1-2 to Bump. Lifts it fouled on the right field side, giving chase is Finnegan, but it's well out of play. And we'll do that again.
And over in the stands, a lot of foul balls on this side end up with the fans. A lot of wind.
A lot of fans here as well.
And it's cold, as I've mentioned.
It's cold in here.
It is cold in here.
Feels like there's a door open. Anyhow, we digress. 1-2 to Bump. Parcel's pitch at the knees, but a little inside. And it's 2-2. Good eye from Bump.
If McManus is selective throughout the entire at-bat, that third strike is almost impossible to get, much to the chagrin of some of the Penn State players and coaches.
2-2 coming. Parcel to Bump. Lifted foul. It'll go over the stadium, out of play right next to us again. 2-2. So Bump's now fouled off 3 pitches and taken a ball since falling behind in the count 1-2. Working a good turn at bat here. Another positive sign in the right direction as Taylor Bump searches for that late season resurgence.
Wolverines play the Nittany Lions again tomorrow, so they want to make
Bump slaps to the left side. On the backhand is the shortstop. Low throw dug out by Black, but she got pulled off the bag, and Bump is going to reach. It was a low throw from Marcotte, who made a beautiful backhand play to snag the line drive, but then the throw appears to have pulled Lexi Black off the bag, and so Bump is going to reach. We'll see how they rule that. And it's going to be a throwing error on Marcotte, an E6 in your scorebooks, and that's a big play here because the Wolverines will have the leadoff base runner in the fifth in a tie game.
Bump having that long at bat is good because I was trying to say, and then there's a hit. They are playing the Nittany Lions again tomorrow, and you want to get Parcel to throw as many pitches as possible. Take her out of that game.
And Michigan will have a well-rested Alex Storako tomorrow. Megan Bobie in 2 if they want her. See who Carol Hutchins decides to go to, but
somebody potentially warming up over there in the Penn State dugout.
Her focus now, though, is on the game at hand. A 1-1 score in the bottom of the fifth. Pinch runner for Taylor Bump.
Might potentially take Parcel out of the game here in order to preserve her for tomorrow.
Well, Penn State feels like they can win this game, and they're very much in the right to think so with a 1-1 score. Kaylee Rodriguez, the runner on at first now for Bump. Esmond at the plate. Corners pinched in, perhaps suspecting a bunt. Esmond swinging away, takes a big hack and comes up empty at the fastball. It's 0-1.
Wasn't the best cut from her there. Just not on it.
Rodriguez, the pinch runner, has speed. She's stolen 3 bases on the year.
1 hit and 1 walk for Esmond. Another huge hack.
Big swing and a miss again. Esmond can't catch up to the fastball. Parcel just keeps elevating it higher and higher in the zone, and she's worked her way in front, 0-2.
Probably comes back here down and low.
Now Hutchins and Esmond convening outside the batter's box. Bit of a conversation here. Esmond behind in the count, 0-2. Nobody out. Rodriguez, the runner at first. She's pinch running for Bump, who reached on the E6. A throwing error for Marcotte, who skipped the throw into first and pulled Black off the bag.
If I had to guess, that is the freshman Spalding warming up for the Nittany Lions.
0-2, swing and a miss. She struck her out. 3 straight fastballs, 3 swings and misses. Blew it right by Lauren Esmond, who comes up empty. Rodriguez still on at first, 1 away, as Bailey Parcel looks to wiggle her way through this inning. And now it's the number 7 hitter, Lauren Esmond, who comes to the plate. Or Audrey LeClaire, I should say. Esmond was just retired.
Another lefty.
First pitch to LeClaire, and she's able to lay off the high heat, 1-0.
LeClaire today, this is her first at bat. She was pinch hit for.
1-0 upcoming to LeClaire. Rodriguez leads on first, and that one is on the outside corner, 1-1. LeClaire looked like she was running up as if to slap it, and then laid off. Partial throwing darts in the circle. 1-1 the count, 1-1 the score. 1 out here in the 5th. 1 runner at first. The 1-1 to LeClaire rises high, 2-1.
Running after it again. Looks like she's going to try and slap this one.
Sierra Kirsten, who stranded 3 batters her last go-around with a strikeout, stands on deck. Comes the 2-1 from Partial to LeClaire. Flash to bunt. And pulls it back, and it's 3-1.
They're going to say that she did not go around. They're going to check it, but it won't count. Another ball.
Trina Comerford at first base. Said LeClaire pulled it back in time. So 3-1 the count to LeClaire. Rodriguez the runner at first.
The inquest of the Penn State coach.
Partial deals. That's on the outside corner. 3-2.
Going to be communication between the first and home plate umpires. Not sure what that's about. There's... Oh, it's complaining.
When in doubt.
I think. So there's some conversation going on. I'm assuming about some of the calls in this inning, as there was that not bunt call and then the Lexi Black being pulled off first. That allowed Bump to reach.
It's a full count to LeClaire. Rodriguez, who pitch ran for Bump, is on first. Partial just struck out Esmond, looking for consecutive strikeouts here. LeClaire, left-handed hitter against Partial, left-handed pitcher. Here it comes. LeClaire slaps it to third. It's off the glove, and it's going to be in fair territory. Leone couldn't handle it. Rodriguez advances to second. We'll see if they rule it an E5 or an infield hit. Nonetheless, LeClaire reaches, and they are going to rule it a hit. So Michigan has runners on first and second with 1 away. And again, the Wolverines are threatening here, trying to take the lead and break a 1-1 tie.
Would have been a real awkward throw from right on the line, on that third base line. There's a solid chance that LeClaire would have beat it out, but it'll bounce off the glove of Leone, and we'll never know. Make your own assumptions.
So here is Kirsten. First pitch, off speed, buckled her knees. It's a strike. Kirsten struck out in the third, left a few runners on base, and was hit by a pitch in the second. Speed on the bases for the Wolverines. Rodriguez, the pinch runner at second. LeClaire, fast in her own right, on at first. Michigan just 0 of 8 today with the runner in scoring position. Kirsten tries to bunt. It's in the air and caught by the catcher, Lindmark. And Kirsten could not get the job done. An interesting situation to be bunting, and certainly can ill afford to get the bunt in the air. It'll be a foul out on the bunt for Kirsten. And now the baton passed to Annabelle Widra. And so Widra in a big spot here. Michigan now 0 of 9 with runners in scoring position. Can ill afford to strand more runners. First pitch to Widra, catches the outside corner, and it's 0-1.
That's 316 with runners in scoring position, 333 with 2 outs. Once again, I don't believe in that, but for those of you who do, there you go.
Widra laced her single into right center last time up. Here comes the 0-1. Lays off the breaking ball, but it catches the upstairs corner, and it's 0-2.
I thought that was a ball.
Bailey Partial has gotten ahead of Annabelle Widra. She could sense her chance to get out of the inning unscathed. keep this game tied. Bottom of the fifth. 2 on, 2 outs, 2 strikes. Here comes
Fake
the pitch to
bunt.
Weidra. Up and away, ball 1.
Showed bunt there, pulled back. I didn't think she had any intention of bunting, so I'm not quite sure what the point of that was.
1-2 coming up. Parsons to Weidra. Parsons trying to keep this game tied at 1. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. She struck her out. Weidra chasing the high heat. Parsons works her way out of trouble once again. And we're through 5 here at Alumni Field. Michigan and Penn State still knotted up at 1-1.
Once again, the story of this game has been runners on and not being able to convert. 1-1 game, but 8 hits for the Wolverines. They've had multiple opportunities in which they have been able to pile on the score, but here's another one. There'll be another one at the bottom of the 6th, as it'll be Burkhart, Sealer, and Carson. But it'll be Jakassi back for the top of the 6th, where she will face Black, Leone, and Jones to start the 6th inning. As I've mentioned, it's really cold today, and it's very windy. The wind blowing to the right side, so there have been a lot of foul balls in the stands, though some balls going foul pretty graciously. But it is Michigan, so it doesn't matter how cold it is softball weather, and they're going to play today. It's also Pitch Perfect Day. That's so fun. The first Pitch Perfect movie is pretty good. I'm going to be so honest. I know this probably is not what you're listening to hear, but there's nothing to talk about at this moment, so I'm talking about the fact that Pitch Perfect is good, and the dudes probably should have won. I thought theirs was better, but I digress. Softball.
I leave for half a second, and we've gone to Pitch Perfect.
It's Pitch Perfect Day. It's relevant, and I'm right.
I'm pro.
So Black will step in to start top of the 6th. First pitch be a strike looking perfectly placed for Jakassi to get Black 0-1. So far today, Black has 1 hit and 1 strikeout. That one in the dirt. In front of home plate. Black won't even blink twice at it. 1-1. That'll be a bit high and outside for ball 2. Wasn't able to fool Black there.
Every pitch all the more important here. A tie game this late in the ball game in the 6th inning.
That'll be fouled sky high. It's going to stay in the infield.
Well, McVeigh lost her cap, made the catch. Sky high pop up, hit a mile into the air. But no sun to be bothered with today with the overcast weather.
Didn't even make it out of the infield for that first out. It'll be Michelle Leone here. First pitch, off speed inside for strike 1. Beautiful pitch by Jakassi. Love starting with the off speed for her.
And she's had that pitch working all afternoon.
Second pitch will be low, but swung on by Leone. Fouled back for strike 2, 0-2, with 1 out. 1-1 score. Top of the 6th inning. Looking to get the second out here, put Leone away on 3 pitches. Slow foul back by Leone. Just barely stuck her bat out to be able to get that one. Count remains 0-2. See what Jakassi goes with here. Rise ball, a little bit too high and outside. Not going to be able to pull Leone at that one. 1-2.
Quite a difference from yesterday's game between these two teams, which was an 8. It was over at this point in the game. Michigan run-ruled Penn State 8-0 in the 5th.
They used up all the offense. That'll be fouled down the first baseline into the stands once again. No wind that time. It was just hit that way.
The wind has died down from the start. That flag relatively stationary out in center field.
I need it to stay that way. I will have to walk home after this. 1-2 count. Be grounded to the second through the legs of Livingston, and it'll be a single for Leone.
Well, Livingston couldn't get the backhand down enough. I believe it skirted right underneath her glove, a play that she'll want back.
And it'll be Jones up, looking to put the Nittany Lions ahead. So far today, she's had one at bat and flew out to right and hit a sac fly. That'll be fouled straight back for the first strike of the at bat. Gonna switch out softballs real quick. For the second pitch. 1-1. 1 strike, 1 out, and it's Leone on first. It's a single that went through the legs of Livingston. Second pitch, swung straight back, right on that. Hit the netting right behind her. 0-2.
Jakassi has just been a bulldog today. She's through 5 innings, just that 1 home run. The lone scar in her afternoon.
72 pitches. Here in the top of the 6th. That'll go over the head, the catcher, and Leone will be able to make it to second easily.
And that's huge. That could prove to be really costly. The runner now in scoring position with that ball sailing to the backstop.
1-2 count. The rise ball is one thing that Jakassi hasn't quite had today. Often have ended up being too high or outside. This pitch, though, we swung on and missed by Jones.
That's one way to counter the ball getting the backstop is just take care of the batter at the dish and fan Jones easily. 1 more to go here in this inning.
And that will be Krauthamel.
That could be it for Jakassi. I think Alex Storako.
76 pitches, and that will be it for Jakassi. Who had a great performance today. Only run she gave up was that home run. Came in the first to relieve Beaubien in that jam and just pitched an incredible game from then on out.
Well, so Jakassi's afternoon is done. She was fantastic, as we've said. The tale of this game for Michigan could have been a lot different. Beaubien allowed 3 of the first 4 batters to reach. The only out was a scorching line drive to left that Sealer had lined up perfectly. And then Jakassi, entering with bases loaded and 1 out, got a strikeout and a pop-up, cruised from there, allowing just a home run. And her day is done with 2 outs in the top of the 6th. And Alex Storako, who has been dominant this season and especially good of late. A bit of a speed bump over the weekend in Northwestern, but a 7-inning complete game with 12 strikeouts against Michigan State on Wednesday and a 5-inning complete game yesterday. So she's back for more today, looking to keep Penn State off the scoreboard and give Michigan's bats a chance to win this ballgame.
Especially with the top of the lineup coming up in the bottom of the 6th inning. Want to make sure you get out of this unscathed with a runner on second and 2 outs. And it'll be Krauthamel who will face Storako for her first batter. The senior right-handed pitcher will face a left-handed hitter here. Never mind. That is not Krauthamel. It is...
Looks to be Emily Maddock.
Yes.
left-handed hitter.
Still a left-handed. So first pitch will be a bit high. Marcotte is not tall, so not going to get that one.
Leone, the runner at second. Don't expect her to be going anywhere here. Decent speed.
Swung on straight back. Foul by Marcotte. She'll settle back in and away at the back of the box. She'll look at a ball outside. 2-1.
That one just missed from Storako. Good eye from Maddock.
2-1, 2 outs. Here in the top of the sixth. 1-1 is her score. Swung on again. Fouled back. Got off the top of the bat. Marcotte is all the way back in the box to face Storako. 2-2. Popped up. It's going to be out of play. Looked like it was much further in than it was.
Nice little snag by a Penn State fan. For your
Gets
reward,
a fist bump.
and he has to give the ball back.
No ball, but you get a fist bump. So, I guess that's the trade-off.
Good exchange, bad exchange?
Depends on what you want from this game. Weak grounder over to the first baseman. She'll be able to maintain that easily. For the third out of the inning, Storako comes in, does her job, and it'll be the Wolverines up to bat in the bottom of the sixth.
It's as easy as things come in the field for Esmond, and Storako doing exactly what you expected Storako to do. Gets the outs she needed. Now hands it over to Michigan's bats. Can the Wolverines come through? They've left 11 runners on base, have scattered 8 hits across the first 5 frames, but just that one run back in the third on the double from Taylor Bump.
Burkhart, Sealer, Carson. Burkhart with 2 hits, both singles.
And she's the one you want up to try and get a rally going.
Looking to get something started here in the bottom of the sixth. Wolverines have done they've gotten 8 hits, so their bats have been active, just never when they need them to be. Have had multiple opportunities with runners in scoring position, and as I've said many times before, because that stat is fake, they've been unable to convert.
A famously fake stat.
I don't have time to get into it, but it's wrong.
Coming to a broadcast near you on a different day for a different game.
Yeah, I'll complain. I have 3 more years to complain about it, so
Plenty of time.
I'm sure you'll hear it eventually. And partial will stay in this game. Makes it a bit harder for the Wolverines, but hoping to chase her out of tomorrow's. Looks like she's going to slap it, but pulls back. For the first pitch, and it'll be a ball.
Burkhart's up to 438. She's batting .500 when leading off an inning. Just fantastic stats all the way around.
That'll be swung all the way around, foul down the first baseline from the lefty. Way out ahead of that one. Got to pull back just a bit. 1-1. That'll be fouled straight back, 1-2. Just a bit.
Burkhart doesn't strike out much. 11 strikeouts on the year, so expect her to battle here, even though she's behind in the count, 1-2.
Want to get partial to throw as many pitches as you possibly can. 33 already. Try and chase her from tomorrow's matchup. That'll be kind of softly hit over to the first baseman who catches it for the first out of the inning. Awkward angle off the bat. Nothing's able to come from it. A Sealer, the freshman, will come up to the plate. 0-3 today.
And she's been in a weird in-between a few times, asked to bunt twice, unable to get the bunt down. Probably not a bunting situation here unless she decides to bunt for a straight hit. We'll see how she handles it.
She'll slap that one over to Partial, who'll collect it cleanly. Get it over to Black for the second out of the inning. Wolverines going quietly so far.
Partial make that play look really easy, pouncing out of the circle and onto the ball right away. No delayed time there. Deft at feeling her position, and 2 up, 2 down rather quickly here. Not what Michigan envisioned with the top of its order. In a 1-1 game in the bottom of the 6th, this game's getting late, and the Wolverines need to break through.
Carson with a hit, strikeout, and a ground out. That'll be fouled straight up, and who's going to get it? The catcher will for the 3rd out. That's 3 quick outs for Penn State. Not at all what the Wolverines want, and Sirocco's going to have to come back in for the top of the 7th and hope that she can keep the Penn State Nittany Lions from putting one on, and that her team will get her in this bottom of the 7th.
Sealer and Carson both one and done, being one pitch and done in their at-bats. And Michigan had 1, 2, 3 in the order in the home half of the 6th. And a meek inning for the Wolverines, which will turn the tables back over into Penn State's hands. Can the Nittany Lions crack Alex Storako and take the lead? Storako came into that jam, got the out she needed. That's that 1.46 ERA on the season. Nearing 200 strikeouts. Has 197 through 119 and 2/3 innings, compared to just 35 walks. The long ball is bitter lately. She's allowed 6 home runs in her past 3 appearances before today, 4 if you include today, and she's only allowed 11 on the season. Of course, any sort of long ball here would be detrimental. That would give Penn State the lead. So something to watch here. Storako sets out for her inning of work here to begin the 7th. Michigan and Penn State all tied at 1. How did we get here? Well, Taylor Bump got us started in the 3rd with an RBI double to left center, plating Melina Livingston. And then in the 5th, it was Cassie Lindmark with a big bomb to left center, a solo blast to tie this game up at 1. And that's all the offense today. Someone, though, is going to have to score to win this game. First pitch to Coombs. She lays down a bunt. Bump stumbles from her knees to throw to first. Gets by Livingston. Trickles down the line. LeClaire there to back it up. Holding Coombs on at first. We'll see how they score it. Bump was creeping in for the bunt. Got to it quickly, but couldn't stay on her feet. And then the sidearm throw from her knees took Livingston off the bag and trickled by Livingston down the line. Nice wherewithal by LeClaire to back it up.
Real awkward angle there. No matter where she was going to throw it, in order to get that ball to the first baseman, she was going to be having, Coombs was in the way, irregardless.
And so now Coombs is on first with what the rule of bunt hit. Another bunt behind the plate. Carson with the sliding catch. No, she dropped it. Taking off for second is Coombs. It's a foul ball anyhow, so that's a moot point. But so the second batter, Finnegan, also now trying to bunt, not for a hit, but to advance Coombs. Bunted it straight up behind the plate. Carson looked to make an acrobatic sliding grab, but there was not a lot of hang time on that softball.
Almost a great play by Carson, just bounced out of her glove, unfortunately.
At the last second as well. So a lot of excitement for merely a foul ball. 0-1 the count to Finnegan. Corner still in, expecting a bunt. Coombs the runner at first. Here comes the bunt. It's popped up, foul again. Carson looking for it. And this one ricochets off the railing. So Finnegan having a difficult time getting the bunt down, both in fair territory and not in the air. So Storako ahead in the count, 0-2.
Looking to get the first out this inning on Finnegan before she has to face the top of the order.
And that one is in there. Strike 3 called. Storako punches her out with the fastball. Finnegan didn't take the bat off her shoulders after failing to get the bunt down. And a big first out for the Wolverines as the lineup turns over. Jakassi Linmark, who is the reason this game is tied right now. She hit a mammoth home run out to left center. Back in the 5th, tagging Durkowski. First pitch, skips in, and it hits her on a bounce. And so Linmark will head to first. She just got hit again. That's number 13 on the season.
You're enjoying this.
It's ridiculous. So Cassie Lindmark has now been hit 13 times on the season. We'll get into the implications that this has for this game in a second. But let me do some
But
quick
first
math.
he needs to talk about this.
Penn State has been hit 11 times of the other Nittany Lions in the lineup. Linmark has been hit 13, including twice today. Let's flip over to Michigan's lineup. Of their 9 starters from today, have been hit a total of 13 times. And Linmark has been hit 13 times by herself. I mean, that's just absurd. How does that happen?
Maybe she's just really
Magnets.
unlucky. Like there's that one MLB pitchers who hit like the most people ever. Maybe it's just like that situation.
Austin Adams.
Yeah, maybe it's just like that, except reverse. She's just really unlucky.
Okay, so now that I'll continue to think about that, but now that we've gotten that out of the way, runners on first and second. Coombs at second. On at first is Linmark. Staraco's in a jam. Dangerous hitter at the plate in Curlin. First pitch swinging, fouls it straight back.
And
nothing
out
in
of
one.
here, that was hit hard. She's lucky that it was
right on that.
Yeah, she was lucky that wasn't going the opposite direction.
Coombs carries the potential go-ahead run at second. The back runner at first is Linmark after her second hit by pitch of the day. 0-1 coming from Staraco. Swing and a miss. She chased a fastball way up in the zone, and it's 0-2. So Curlin perhaps a little overzealous here, trying to be the hero.
That one was over her head.
And Carson came out of her crouch to make sure that didn't go to the backstop. 0-2. Staraco deals. Popped up. Out of play again. And it'll thud. There it is. It thuds off the roof above us. Still 0-2. Curlin to power threat. She has 13 home runs on the season.
790 slugging. That is ridiculous.
Michigan has held her in check. She's 0 for 3 today, but could change that in a big way here. 1-1 the score. Runners on first and second with 1 away in the top of the 7th. 0-2. Staraco to Curlin. Chopped foul wide of first.
Left-hander pulled it all the way around. The single left-hander in Penn State's starting lineup.
Coombs the runner at second. She's got good speed. On at first is Linmark. Staraco got herself into damage. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. She struck her out. Chased the high cheese again. Curlin goes down on strikes. A king-size out for Staraco for the second out of the inning.
That rise just absolutely killed Curlin. Proved that she was willing to swing at balls over her head, and Staraco came right back, right at her head again, to get that out. It'll be Marcotte, who's also been hit by pitch today.
0 for 2 besides that. First pitch from Staraco is high, so Marcotte able to do what Curlin couldn't, laying off that high pitch.
Marcotte is also short, so that might have been why.
Coombs, who is also short, is the runner at second. Linmark, the runner at first. 1-0 from Staraco to Marcotte. Fastball at the letters, strike one.
Good pitch.
Top of the 7th, Michigan at Penn State. All knotted up at 1 in a tense one here at Alumni Field.
I want to make sure I'm accurate with people's heights here. Not just how it looks from
not just
up,
distorting them.
Perched.
1-1. Marcotte cut on and miss. Cut through another fastball. It's 1-2. Staraco just rearing back and firing.
We are above everybody, so.
Staraco sitting at 199 strikeouts this season, eyeing that 200th and trying to get out of this jam.
Okay, she's 5'4". That is respectable.
1-2. Swing and a miss. She struck her out. Chased the high fastball. Staraco works herself into and out of trouble and sends Michigan to the bottom of the 7th, looking to win this game in walk-off fashion for the second time in as many games.
And it'll be Livingston up to bat to lead it off, followed by Bump and Essman. If you want any players up for you right now, they'd be the ones. Had a pretty good game. I can hear Pump It Up from outside. So we head to the bottom of the 7th and look to get the win in walk-off fashion. And the pitcher is some partial again. If the Wolverines are able to extend this inning long enough, or if it goes into extras, hoping that they will successfully chase Partial out of the game tomorrow.
So Bailey Partial going toe-to-toe in the late innings here with Alex Duraco. It was the pitching matchup to start yesterday's ball game. They went toe-to-toe for a while until Partial crumbled in the fourth, and they've both been excellent in their relief stints so far today. Melina Livingston will lead things off for Michigan, followed by Taylor Bump, whose double is the reason that this game is tied at 1, and then Lauren Esmond batting 6th and 3rd in the inning. Livingston has been red hot. Her 2-game homer streak is on the line. She was responsible for the walk-off 3-run home run yesterday that brought the score to 8-0 in the 5th, which was good for the run rule. Partial deals to Livingston. First pitch at the letters for a strike. Livingston, also a former Penn State softball player. How sweet would it be for back-to-back walk-off blasts against her former team?
I love the narrative.
Let's see if the narrative can come to fruition. The 0-1. Blasted to left, down the line. Jones is back, and one hops the wall. Livingston rounds first. She's going to try for 2. She's in sliding. A lead-off double in the bottom of 7th for Melina Livingston, and Michigan's in business. Livingston carries the potential winning run with nobody out.
Great piece of hitting by Livingston. Put that perfectly so it was almost uncatchable by the left fielder. Had to chase it to the wall, get it in there and double to start the 7th inning. Pretty good.
And so Livingston doing what Livingston does, getting the extra base hit. Not a home run, but I'm sure she'll settle for it. And now Taylor Bump trying to play hero. Bump has been red hot as of late. Had a 3-run shot yesterday, a big double on Wednesday, a double earlier today. First pitch, fastball, misses somewhere, and it's 1-0. Livingston, the runner, at second. She's got average speed.
Be one of the 2 righties.
Partial's 1-0 to Bump. At the letters for a strike, 1-1.
That was a good pitch.
Taylor Bump brought her average all the way up to 224.
One hit, 1 RBI.
He's got 11 RBI in the season. 6 of those come in the last 3 games. The 1-1 to Bump, fouled straight back. Karam's off the netting. And it's 1-2. Livingston carries the potential winning run at second base. Here in the bottom of the 7th, we're all even at 1 run apiece. One and 2 the count. Livingston, the winning run at second. Partial of the circle. Here comes the 1-2 to Bump. Golf to right. Easing back is Finnegan. She makes the catch. Tagging is Livingston. She's going to make it to third without a throw. A productive out for Taylor Bump. Moves the winning run up to third. And now Livingston just 90 feet away. And Lauren Esmond coming to the plate.
This is a great opportunity for Esmond here to get something going.
All Michigan needs is a fly ball to win this one.
She had a single in the first inning, since then a walk and a strikeout.
The infield is drawn in for Penn State. Esmond, the left-handed hitter, against a left-handed pitching Partial. First pitch fouled straight back.
She was on that one.
Right on it. Livingston, the winning run, 90 feet away at third. If Esmond can't get the job done, it's Audrey LeClaire who looms on deck. 0-1 the count. Partial has wiggled her way out of 2 jams already today. Can she pull the third Houdini act? 0-1 the count to Esmond. Partial deals, and it hits Esmond. Look to clip her on the shoulder or the arm area, and she's on at first. So runners at first and third, and now LeClaire comes to the plate. And a big meeting at the mound between Penn State's entire infield, the battery mates, and the coach. The winning run is at third, and Melina Livingston, who led off this inning with the double. She advanced to third on a fly ball to right off the bat of Taylor Bump. And then Esmond got hit by a pitch from Partial.
It is very cold in here. I know
Well,
I've mentioned it like 8 times, but it's really important that you guys know.
We could be going home soon if Audrey LeClaire can send all the shivering fans here at Alumni Field home happy. LeClaire waiting one last conversation with Carol Hutchins. Livingston, the winning run at first. Esmond, the meaningless runner, on at first. Livingston's on third, 90 feet away. Penn State has the infield in. LeClaire, left-handed hitter. First pitch from Partial on the outside corner for a strike. Kirsten, who's had a tough day at the dish, looms on deck.
Wonder if you pinch hit there.
LeClaire is 1 for 2. Michigan's trying to not let it get to Kirsten. LeClaire can end it here. Here comes the 0-1.
Could be low.
Low and a bit away. 1-1. LeClaire singles in her last at-bat in the 5th. A replication of that would win this game for Michigan in the bottom of the 7th. Wolverines looking for their first hit with a runner in scoring position today. 1-1 the count. Partial deals. LeClaire flares it to left, falling fast down for a base hit. Burkhardt had to hold up the throw home. She's safe, and Michigan wins it. A walk-off for Audrey LeClaire as Livingston scampers home, and the Wolverines win in the bottom of the 7th, 2-1.
What a slide by Livingston. Just got her hand on the base there. Barely, that was perfectly executed by Livingston. Perfect slide, and Wolverines will win this one, 2-1.
LeClaire fisted it into left field. Jones was playing so shallow that Livingston had to hold up at third. When it fell, she made a mad dash home and got there just in time, beating the throw from Jones. And so Michigan outlasts Penn State in exciting fashion. The Wolverines win it 2-1. They've taken the first 2 games of the series and are now on a 4-game winning streak.
They'll tie Penn State for 4-4 Big Ten play, hoping to push themselves up against them tomorrow when they'll finish the series.
And that's going to do it for our coverage today here on WCBN Sports. Another Michigan softball victory. We'll be back again here from Alumni Field tomorrow. Thanks so much for listening. The Wolverines win in walk-off fashion, 2-1. Audrey LeClaire, the hero, as Melina Livingston scampers home. So that's going to do it for us here at WCBN Sports. For Kendall Spencer, I'm Jared Greenspan. Thanks so much, as always, for listening. Good night, and go blue.